I'd like to call the Legislation Committee meeting for November 20th to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Boyd. Alderwoman Davis.
Present.
Alderman Vaccaro.
Present.
Alderman Coder.
Here.
Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Muhammad.
Here.
Alderman Oldenburg.
Here.
Alderwoman Martin.
Present.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Present.
Alderwoman Middlebrook. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Here.
Chairman Palmer. President Reed. 9 present, you have quorum.
Thank you very much. This meeting was called to order to provide a public hearing for those who have comments and/or concerns about the redistricting process. And I'm looking forward to that. As I always share with my committee, this is for the public. This is not about us today. And so I do appreciate, though, we only have 2 people who have signed up to speak, but I'm going to give them, because it's only 2, I'm going to give them 5 minutes each and allow them to provide us with their input. So I wanted to make sure that we have the necessary information that was provided online as I see it, and I will ask that question to make sure that the speakers do understand. So let's get started. Our first speaker is Daniel Sesh. Did I pronounce that right?
Sesh.
Sesh. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Sir, the first thing I'd like to do is to swear you in. Do you affirm that the information that you're providing us is true?
Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Please state your name, the block that you live on in the city of St. Louis, and any affiliations that you may have that you are representing today, other than yourself.
My name is Daniel Sesh. I live in the 6,000 block of McPherson in the Skinker to Bolivar neighborhood. Okay. And I am not currently affiliated with, not representing anybody today besides myself as a 50+ year resident of the city of St. Louis and this neighborhood.
All right, thank you, sir. Please start.
Okay, thank you for hearing my testimony. You may remember the 2012 BBC documentary, quote, "Crossing a St. Louis Street That Divides Communities," about the Delmar Divide. The video showed Kings Highway and Euclid Avenues and cross streets north and south of Delmar, and the disparities of median home values, 73,000 versus 335,000, and the median household income, 18,000 versus 50,000, for the areas east of Kings Highway, in effect comparing the Central West End with blocks north of Delmar. Apparently, the boundaries of the Central West End were drawn to not include blocks north of Delmar. It is a shame that District F, which the proposed District F, which includes the Central West End neighborhood, is a majority white district, about 55% white, 24% black, and 12% Asian, where the white percentage is twice that of the black percentage. It achieves that disparity by including only 2 partial blocks north of Delmar. It would be a disgrace if the district, including the Central West End, does not include many more blocks north of the Delmar Divide. I live in what is designated as District E. That district is indicated as majority black, about 56% black, 28% white, and 8% Asian, where the black percentage is twice that of the white percentage. I am comfortable living in a majority minority district but without changing that, believe that some of District E's Black population north of Delmar should be transferred to District F, which includes the Central West End, and some of District F's white population south of Lindell should be transferred to District E. That could be done and leave both districts with contiguous boundaries. If the white and Black populations of these two districts had a minimum of 40% white and Black populations, in E, the Black percentage higher than the white, in F, the white percentage higher than the Black, we might have swing districts, which sometimes elected Black and sometimes white alder people, as opposed to two districts with such disparate composition that candidates from the mathematically minority racial group face an uphill battle being elected. That would be appropriate, as both districts are central corridors and which have enjoyed decades of diverse population and political representation. Leaving District F with such substantial white Black population disparity and almost no blocks north of Delmar would let the world know that, at least politically, the Delmar Divide border of the Central West End lives on, endorsed by the St. Louis Board of Aldermen. I've thrown a lot of information at you. I will submit this written statement to Mr. Kennedy's office via email.
I thank you very much for that comprehensive analysis, sir. And we're looking forward to looking at that closer. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Caroline Fan.
Yes.
Are you with us?
Yes.
All right, please. I don't see you yet. There you are.
Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
All right. What I'd like to do is to first swear you in. Do you affirm that the information that you're going to provide is true?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And what I'd like for you to do now is to state your name, the block that you live on in the city, and also if you are representing any other affiliate other than yourself.
So as I had emailed the clerk, I'm speaking on behalf of the Missouri Asian American Youth Foundation. So it's an organizational, not as a resident. Thank you.
Okay. Please proceed.
Sure. My name is Caroline Fan. I am the founder and president of the Missouri Asian American Youth Foundation, which is a statewide organization that I founded ahead of the 2020 census to ensure that Asian American Pacific Islanders in our state have a unified voice, right? And I want to thank the BOA and the Legislation Committee for working with the community to have multiple iterations of the map and to receive public feedback. I also want to point out that I was on a national redistricting webinar yesterday where folks from other states talked about how they had held hearings in multiple languages. For example, in Massachusetts, they held hearings in Mandarin, in Vietnamese, in Spanish, in Cape Verdean, and in Creole around redistricting. I think that, you know, particularly if we're looking at total population, we have to take into account that there are folks who live in our fair city who are limited English proficient, and that, you know, they also deserve access to being able to participate in our small d democracy, right? That there are folks who feel like they have not actually been invited to this process because all of the outreach literature is in English. And I think that, you know, so our organization does a lot of voter outreach, a lot of voter registration, a lot of civic engagement. This has been my first round of redistricting where I've had to really, you know, dig in and, you know, play around with maps. And I feel like, and many of you probably also feel like you need prescription eyeglasses after this, but I think, one of the things that I want to touch upon really is this binary conversation that we must have 7 Black wards and 7 white wards. I think that erases the existence, right, of folks who are multiracial in the city. That is the largest category that is in the census of folks who are Asian American, of folks who are Hispanic or Latino, of Bosnian folks, of African immigrants. And, when I played around with the maps, and I still need to send in my map to all of you, I made 3 wards that were 10% Asian American, and the CWE ward that I made was 18% Asian American. And I think, one of my board members, Chow Wen, who lives in the city, has been following the 5 maps. And, in Ward I, proposed Ward I, if you include in the northern, there's like a little northern block that is currently pink as opposed to green. But if you shifted it to Kings Highway, right, that ward would actually be 10% Asian American. And I've also noticed that amongst the iterations of the wards, thank you to Andrew Arkels, who has loaded all of these things into Dave's redistricting and also charted, the fluctuations, that the ward that, used to be of 10% Hispanic has now dropped below 10% Hispanic. And so, I think it's, Chow also wants to point out that in Ward M, there's been a little cutout, right? Whereas you could include the cutout that is above it, where there's a population, that is not as wealthy as Holly Hills. It also has bubble tea shops, right? That, some of the wards she wants to know, and she spoke about this at the press conference, seem to be geared to really put together wealthy residents, right? And other wards seem geared to put together residents who are not as wealthy. And so she wants to note that class kind of differential. I think the other thing I'd like to point out is that we, like something like 1 out of 8 residents of the city is neither white nor Black, right? And so if you really want to divide the wards amongst some binary, then, based upon total population, really, it should be that there would be 1 ward or 2 wards that would more closely approximate the actual total population of the city. I think, and in part of this conversation, there's, discussion about immigrants, but a lot of the people who actually live in CWE, the Asian Americans at least, they're not immigrants, they are US born citizens, they're Asian Americans, right? And so I also want to be sensitive to the fact that when we look at maps, it's a product of the past racist urban planning that has occurred in our city, so we can only build upon what has existed and try to improve it. That's really all I have for today. I think I've, thank you all for working with us. Also, I'd like to say it would be really, really awesome if someone from the city could upload these maps into Dave's redistricting for the future, as opposed to a bunch of, really kind of tech savvy residents and taxpayers doing all of these iterations. Dave's redistricting is a free software that a lot of folks use. It's really fairly easy to use, and it helps instill transparency and trust in the process. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for your input today. And I think that one of the things that you will find in the portal is a lot of data information for those wards to show. And it's a shame that when we use terminologies that we don't explain it, because when you talk about a majority minority ward, we're looking at all minorities, not just one. And so all those percentages are indicated so that we can see everyone who lives in that area. And I hope that you have opportunity to look at that and really, as they say, dive in. And I think you'll be happier when you realize that part of it. Okay. So I thank you very much. Committee, I wanted to go through a couple of things, and I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped my stuff. I know Mary Goodman is online. Mary, could I indulge
Yes,
you? For
ma'am.
just- So did the president have any plans to share any information with us today?
No, unfortunately, he's stuck in another meeting right now. So he said to please excuse him this morning. He sincerely apologizes for not being able to make it.
Okay. Then we'll move on. I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
So for our agenda today, we have nothing else that we need to discuss other than I always like to give committee members a couple of minutes just to anything you'd like to share, to have on record at this moment. And I will give you a final opportunity here to do that. And just take 2 or 3 minutes and let's see where we are, because the committee has to still function. And I want us to stay in communication, not be silent. And I'm sure that our chairman would agree with that. So let's start off. Alderman Boyd. Okay, he's not there. Alderman Vaccaro.
I'm good. I have nothing, just listening.
All right, thank you very much, sir. And can we move on to pull my list over here? Alderwoman Howard. Alderwoman Spencer.
Excuse me, Chairwoman.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at my other.
Yeah, I think you are in the wrong committee. I have it in front of me.
I pulled this list over here and I was like, wait a minute.
I think that's probably your Ways and Means.
Here's the other one. Okay. You are absolutely positively right. So you can go ahead and guide me through that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Alderman Boyd.
Okay.
Then it's Alderman Vaccaro.
And he's already.
I already spoke, but I'm good.
Okay. Alderman Coder.
No comment.
Alderwoman Boyd.
I just want to thank the people that did come out today to speak, and we did hear you loud and clear. And so thank you, Madam Chair, for running the meeting, and I appreciate everybody that came today. Thank you.
Alderman Muhammad.
I have nothing, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Alderman Oldenburg.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Alderwoman Martin.
I don't have anything either. Thank you.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't know. I just completely lost my connection, but I'm back. Thank you. I just wanted to make a comment just about I think, we've been getting a ton of information out there to folks over the last few weeks, which has been great. I'm still hearing from people who are kind of tuning in for the first time, and I am I am hoping that whatever changes we make between now and Monday, we have a way of really getting those out to the public, because I think that, people have tuned in at different times and seen different versions of the map. And there may very well be tweaks this weekend, as we are still getting input and we are still crunching numbers. And I would hope that the map that comes before this committee and eventually before the board is one that everyone feels like they've had adequate time to look at and comment on. And I know our timeline is scrunched and there's only so much we can do about that, but just anything we can do to really get the push out there and make sure that we are covering all the various news outlets to say, hey, look, this is what we're voting on. It may have changed in the last 24, 48 hours. We want to make sure you know. I just think that's going to be really important. And again, I just want to thank everyone who has taken the time to submit comments, either online or in these hearings and over email. It really, it's been great, I think, to see all of the people who have taken the time to really study these maps and the people who are drawing their own maps. I do want to second that if we could get the map uploaded into like Dave's redistricting app, for example, that would be great. I know I have to spend a couple of days trying to get caught up once it goes out there, waiting for the Twitterverse to figure out how to get this into a way for everybody to see it. So anything we can do on our end, and I know Mary's been working a ton to keep things going on a quick turnaround, and I appreciate it. And that's all I have. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So my final comments, I can agree with getting the information out. And what I've been doing is I've been providing any outlets that I think might be useful. And so I would suggest that any committee members that have an outlet that can get information out, please share that so that we can include everything that's available out here. We do know that there are a lot of different platforms that people follow, and we don't all each know all of them. So let's please share so that we can do just that. I think that's very critical that we make the public, we just need to make sure it's out there. And unfortunately for us, almost every day there's a new organization that pops up and we just don't know about it. So if you know about something, please share it so that we can give the information out to the entire community as much as possible. I had a last thing that I think that the president would want me to say today, and I would want to say it on my own behalf. I thoroughly have learned a lot through this process. The engagement of the public has really helped a lot. And as most of you know, I've done some of everything with this city on every level possible, including marketing the city of St. Louis. I had a contract doing that for a number of years. So I know the city, and it's wonderful to see how people have really come out and been a part of this process. And we will probably need to look at this and capture some of this to use for the future for the Board of Aldermen. I think it's a great thing for us to take all this, all the people that we've been in contact with, and create a great contact list for us to use for the future. So with that, I'd like to excuse the
sorry. Excuse me, Chairwoman Davis. I didn't finish going through the list. I'm sorry. After Alderwoman Navarro.
Go ahead.
Alderwoman Middlebrook. Alderwoman Clark Hubbard.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Thank you, Ms. Clark. I'm sorry. I just had a couple of quick comments because I promised I would. This morning, I was in a community meeting with a group that's out of the Bolivar Place neighborhood. And I want you to know that they're excited about the map. They're excited about the way that they are now getting joined with neighboring communities that one person stated had been a split for over 10 years. And they're also excited about the energy that they're hearing and reading about on several outlets that's going down Delmore. So thank you for the comments that were made about Delmore today, because I know it's, again, I said it earlier at another meeting, I know change is going to be rough for some people, but when you're doing stuff for the greater good, and when you get the comments and you get the feedback that people are watching, listening, encouraging that this is a message that could truly be sent, then I think that we are doing the right thing and we should keep pushing forward. So thank you so much for everybody that continues to stay engaged in this process. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, for letting me speak, and I look forward to Monday.
Yes. All right. Thank you.
That is the conclusion of the committee members.
Thank you very much. And my mind is moving too fast. I need to slow it down this morning. So I want to excuse those aldermen for necessary absence. And now can we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and motion moved and second to adjourn.
Aye.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any noes? The ayes have it. Thank you again, everyone. I know we're all busy. There's lots going on in our town today. So get out there and make it happen. Thank you.